Good evening to excuse me, episode 46 of the DSMC Sunday night live chat. We have got Martin, but excuse me, I haven't got a cough until now. But he's on and off of it. He's struggling with his new tablet. Good evening to Phil. Good to see you, Phil, from Yorkies Diecast Workshop. Good to see you, Phil. We'll see if Martin can get back on. There he is. He's struggling a bit with technology, but he's there.
Just a second. I'm just going to take a photo. There you go.
All right. Good evening to Martin. It's good to see you.
People.
This I hope you'll indulge me for a few minutes. This is a bit of a bittersweet episode for a lot of us. Firstly, it would be remiss not to give a mention, because we've got quite an Australian contingent in our group, to give us our thoughts, prayers, condolences to what's happened on Bondi Beach. I'm not going to get into politics and religion and all that kind of stuff. Just the fact that if you know anybody out there, give them a call. Let them know that we're all thinking about them, and you're thinking about them. We've got the likes of PB, Michael, Graham, Shane that are out there. They're not all in Sydney, obviously, but we don't know where their families are living. So, that being said, the other, I don't want this to be a memorial by any stretch of the imagination, so forgive me for this. The other news that we had, courtesy of Martin, that we've lost pretty much a diecast legend in Bob Willis. A lot of people knew him as Corgi Bob. Bob was never a big advocate of Facebook. We did try and get him to join the group a time or two, but it wasn't his favoured medium. So what I'd like to do is just to share a screen from Martin's post as a bit of a shout out to Bob. And we'll raise a glass to him, and then we'll crack on with the episode. So I'm going to share a screen, if you bear with me a moment. And let me find Martin's post, if you just bear with me. If I haven't gone past it already. I think I may have gone past it. So Steve Martin, right? Okay. So I know Martin's having a bit. I was going to ask Martin to read this out, but if you can't see it very well, I'll do it on his behalf if you don't mind.
Can't read it, mate.
So Martin said, "We say goodbye to one of the great restorers, Corgi Bob. Sadly passed away recently. A brilliant and lovely man. R.I.P. Bob, and prayers for his wife Linda." So I'm just going to read. I think it's only fair we read out some of the comments that were left. So Dwayne McDonald, very sad. I loved his videos and his great personality. He was one of the guys that got me into the hobby. I sometimes go back and watch his old videos, and he was great. The next one was me. Richard Haywood, very sad news. Like a lot of other people on here, it was Bob that got me into Corgi diecast restorations. I watched him on YouTube, always enjoyed his fun and enthusiasm he brought to the subject. Condolences to his wife, family, and friends. R.I.P. Bob. Peter Houghton, so very sorry to hear this sad news. Bob, along with you, Martin, and crap old Nick Lemaire, inspired me to have a go at model restoration. He was a very talented restorer. Love and prayers to his wife, Linda. R.I.P. Bob. Gary, I'll read a few. Gary Camp, one of the first restorers I ever watched on YouTube. He gave me inspiration to attempt my first restoration. R.I.P. Bob. our friend Ian. God bless Bob, R.I.P. Really glad to have known you, mate, and to be able to help you at the beginning. I'm in shock there won't be another. Regards to the rest of the family, thinking of you all at this difficult time. And it goes on, and so it should. Joss, this is very sad. John, R.I.P. Corgi Bob. You get the general consensus of what people were thinking and how much he meant to a lot of people. So I'm going to stop sharing. And with that, Martin, I didn't ask you this before because you was off and on. Your thoughts, really, how you got to know Bob? And
well, I got to know Bob when I was searching for diecast restorers, really, quite a few years ago now, and I dropped on one of his videos, and I thought, it sounded my sort of person. He was down to earth, none of the fancy Shazam pizzazz that some channels have. Very down to earth, very grounded, no nonsense, and he used to make me smile when people would ask him questions, repeated questions about where could I get this, where could I get that, and he would just turn around and said, do what I do, bloody look it up, and they used to make me smile, things like this, and it made me interested. So that's how I got started, really, by watching. He was one of the ones who would actually explain what he was doing, which is what I was after, and it went on from there. I got my very first video. I said to him, I'm going to do my first video, and he said good luck with it, and then got a Batmobile in it, and he was saying, yeah, get it done and stuff. But yeah, we emailed back and forth, but it was never big on social media, No. He would email you if you emailed him, or you could phone him, speak to him, but he was very guarded like that. He didn't want to be pestered so much with constant limelight sort of thing, and he enjoyed what he was doing, and he enjoyed sharing what he was doing. That was the main thing, was he enjoyed sharing his talent with everybody else, and was always willing to help you if you asked a sensible question, which I found was very, very good. And the banter between him and Linda was quite funny.
Yeah.
Because she gave him down the road, the big fella that he was, and stuff like this. Yeah, so yeah, it was entertaining. He was an entertaining sort of guy. And I did know that he got poorly. And I said that I wouldn't broadcast that because he asked me not to at the time. So I didn't. And I contacted him, well, it must have been a few months before he passed. And, he said he was basically coming to the end of it all, and he was hoping that he'd be here for Christmas, but he obviously wasn't. So, it's upsetting times.
It's Phil, did you come across Bob's videos at all in your search for restorations?
Very much so, yeah. And like most of the people in the chat and the comments on Martin's stream, it was one of the first YouTube channels I'd watched. Going back 6-7 years, there weren't many others, to be fair. So yeah, that's kind of got me into it, if you like.
I mean, from my point of view, Bob did a lot of the stuff that I like, a lot of the Jerry Anderson stuff, so I was fascinated by that. And there was this brash fella in the comments called Martin Dare. Who's he? And it's thanks to Bob, inadvertently, that I got to know Martin. So I can never thank him enough for that. He could be he could be a little bit grumpy at times. I totally agree, Martin. When how do you take? I showed you this in the last video. Go and watch that. That kind of, it wasn't insulting, but it was, he didn't have much time for uninteresting questions, I guess, really, or repetitive questions. But we, like I said to the guys, we asked him to join Facebook, and it was never his favoured medium.
No.
But even now, you can go back. I don't know. We don't know how long Bob's channel will remain up. It has been demonetized. Martin was telling me. We can only. I mean, I never met the guy personally. He liked comments that we put on his videos, but we can only, as I said in a lot of the comments in the chat on Martin's post, we can only wish Linda all the best, because I know she wasn't well for a long time, and he'll be sadly missed. He will be sadly missed. It was 3 years. I had a look on his channel today, and it was 3 years since he did his last video. I couldn't believe the time has gone that quick.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
But you know, I don't want this to become a eulogy or whatever you like. But I think it's only courteous that we tipped his hat and raised the glass to Bob, and hopefully he's restoring up where restorers go. So
he'll put them straight, mate.
God bless him.
Yeah, God bless you, mate.
So with the sad news out of the way, not out of the way, I don't mean it like that, but let's move on to a little bit of lighter things. Hopefully, Moz will be joining us later. We're not sure what's happened to Luke, and Bryan's got the flu, so you're stuck with the three of us for tonight. Phil, bless him, will check the comments. If there's something that he feels we should bring up, he'll bring it up. We've got a streaming ticker working that he's going to maintain for us. And this is, after all that sad news, this is supposed to be a bit of a Christmas-themed episode. So apologies for the unusual start. We'll kick off. Another personally from myself to Luke, Owen, Luke's son, Martin, and Phil. They visited the DSMC headquarters yesterday. We went out for a meal. The governor footed the bill, bless him. Although we ended up footing the bill twice and ended up with more plates of breakfast
extra breakfast
than we started with. It was like man versus food by the time we'd done. But as was always with our meats, gifts were given, swaps were made, parts were exchanged. We had a great time, and I can't thank the boys enough for visiting. It was great. Also, it'd be remiss of me to not say thank you to everybody that's on the Facebook group for leaving their kind birthday wishes of at the grand old age of 61. So thank you to everybody who left a message. Excuse me. Apparently you at 61 you're getting indigestion. So that's put all that to bed, and we'll start fresh, shall we, from where we picked up. So welcome to episode 46. We've got a bit of a Christmas themed general chat really and questions, which is probably going to suit this episode if we've only got a few of us online. Today we're going to do something special. I say it's a 2-hour diecast and plastic model kit Christmas special. So this is relaxed hangout style episode. We're talking collections, build, mistakes, wins, and everything in between. So settle in. We'll try to make this a bit of a light entertainment for you. Thank you, as always, to our regulars in the chat for joining us. You all make it worth it for us to be able to bring this to you. So segment 1, Christmas and hobby memories. So let's rewind a bit and talk Christmas memories. What's the first model or diecast you remember getting as a kid?
Oh, Christ. Flipping heck.
One of us has got to dig deeper than the other two, I'll tell you that.
I've got to actually, as it happens, I'll take it I'm going first, yeah?
Well, yes, now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, unlike a lot of people who sort of lived, my father was in the RAF and the services, so he moved around an awful lot. Every couple of years he moved around, so toys and collectibles and things were a no-no. You know, you had toys, but then when you moved, they were given to people who were coming back on the base. You know, it was like a trading centre. You know, but you took nothing with you when you went, to keep the load light for when you were packing. So hence I didn't keep any of my childhood toys because they just were given away or whatever. But I do remember having a few old Dinky toys, and one of them was, I'm trying to think what it flipping was now. It was a transporter, the red transporter, the red auto transporter. I remember getting that because I remember me unwrapping the present of the Dinky transporter. Yeah, and I was over the moon with it. And that's the one I can clearly stands out in my mind. That one.
Yeah.
And I obviously had more at the time. You know, we were living there, a few old toys, and a lot of them were given from people. Like I say, when we moved camp, the toys were given to other kids who were just coming into camp or were going to be there for a bit longer. So I did have other toys, you know, but I do remember that as a brand spanking new one, and it's took me what, I don't know, 50 odd years to get one back again, and I've now got one back. Yeah, so that would be my earliest childhood memory of getting a die-cast car. Yeah.
Phil?
Oh, well, I think for me it was Matchbox and the plastic track that you used to make up into various hoops and all sorts, and hang it off the back of the dining room table and down the floor and what have you to get the height on it. But I also remember not so much die-cast, but I had a collection of Action Man figures and the various trucks, planes, and bits and bats that came with it. So I do remember that. But I was one of two. I always remember my brother's cars were mint in box. We wouldn't let anybody touch them, and they're probably still like that somewhere now. Whereas mine, as soon as I got them, that were it. Out in garden, flying down walls, in the house, and everything. Yeah, it was. We were like chalk and cheese with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking. I went down to see my mum and dad today, and we were talking about. It cropped up. I don't know what brought the conversation up about collecting, and I was saying like we had when we were kids. You had a lot of hand-me-downs and second-hand stuff, like, because you know your parents couldn't afford it. And I always got hand-me-downs from a guy across the road, and he gave me boxes and boxes and boxes of Action Man stuff. And if you could go back and tell yourself, you know, all them years ago, put that in a box and put that box in a safe, and don't let your mum throw any of your toys away, because you'll never see them again. I had a full collection of Marvel UK comics. They only ever came out once. They did a special release for the UK, and I had all the issues, and they were in a wardrobe for ages. And I went up to get them, gone. I was absolutely shell shocked. And I said, "Mum, where's them comics that I used to collect?" Oh, they were taking up room. I'd got a new bag or something like, so I binned them.
Yeah, that happens, doesn't it? Yeah, that happens, mate. Yeah, unfortunately.
But going back to the question, I remember my uncle and auntie buying me the John Player special car and racing car on a trailer.
Nice.
When you could still put JPS on the side of it.
Yeah.
Can't do now in this politically correct world that we live in. So I remember that, and the other one that I always remember is the SO Tanker Martin, the ladder along the top of it. Well, whatever it was like. I remember that. And they're the two that I always seem to recall from the childhood. I was never a big diecast collector at the time. It was more, I was more into Action Man and things like that. As Phil was saying, you know, you had a mix and match of toys.
Yeah,
One thing really. But that was my earliest memory.
But Action Man, because when we were kids, you know, you got your diecast toys, and I mean, I still remember the tin plate toys and the stuff like this, and then moving on to diecast. But then that was basically, apart from your tin toys, your clockwork toys, and that, maybe a few bits and pieces. But then your Action Man was a big thing because it was different, wasn't it? There wasn't anything out prior to that as big as that, as far as I can remember. You know, unless you got a puppet or something like that. It's only a puppet. You know, it's something like that. But then when Action Man came out, it was oh man, look at this, brilliant. You know, yeah, it was something else. I think they did some Thunderbird ones as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
At one point, yeah. But yeah, I did have a puppet actually. Somebody actually, I think it was my grandmother actually. I remember vaguely having one of those puppet things, you know, with strings and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, what a flipping tangle I used to get that in. It's all over the place.
Like the old Pinocchio, not Pinocchio. Yeah, well, like Thunderbird puppets. You're right. Yeah,
they're Pinocchio and all sorts, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I think my dad had a go in it, and he was, oh, look at this, I can do this, and my sister and stuff. But yeah, cool. They were the sort of toys we had, you know. But
this is similar but slightly different. Best die-cast or kit. Obviously, unfortunately, we haven't got Moz here at the minute. You received as a Christmas gift. So this is not when you were necessarily as a child. This could be through any point.
I had one.
Go on then, mate.
I'm not arguing the thing, but
you hog away.
Feel free.
me and Phil can quite happily sit here and listen.
Well, as you know, I have model kits and stuff like this and scale models, and I used to be. I did a lot of scale modelling before I got into die-cast and stuff like that. And one year, my missus says to me, "She said, I got you a present for Christmas." I said, "Oh yeah," and I always, I always like to guess, to shake the box and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, as you do, what it asks questions and stuff like that. And she said, "I'm not telling you, but you'll really like it," teasing me. And it was Christmas Eve at night, in the evening, and she said to me, she was just talking. She says, "Oh, I hope you like your bomber in the morning." And I thought, and she told me all that time that she saved it. She let it out at the last knockings of Christmas Eve, and it was a monogram B29, Eleanor Gay, the big one. I think it was that old Hasegawa. I still got it. I haven't built it. Still got it.
Wow.
And she blew, and she could have kicked herself. Told her. Yeah, that was just a little note, but yeah, that was, to me, it meant a lot, because my mother, if I said once I got past the childhood stage, my parents were a case of, no, I'm not buying you toys, and they would never buy me toys or models or anything like that. It was, you're an adult now. No, you don't have that. So it was good to get that from the missus, because she's always supported my hobbies anyway. So
yeah.
I'll never let her forget it. She never forgets it. Yeah. So
all right. Phil, did you?
Yeah, I remember receiving the Aston Martin, the James Bond car that flicks the villain out the roof, and the guns at the back. I remember receiving that. More than anything, I think Meccano and Lego was more in my memory for receiving gifts. Yeah, I used to have oceans of it, to the point where, the old quality street tins.
Yeah,
I'd end up with dozens of them full of it. Yeah.
I remember Peter Kay saying along the lines of, he used to love going around with mums, and they had the quality street tins. But when you opened it up, there was all bloody knitting and balls of wool in there. You just kept using them.
Yeah, but that's when the tins were proper flipping tins, weren't they?
Proper size,
You got a quality treats tin now full of bloody Meccano bits. It'd be weighing a fair old bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it'd be worth
Oh,
a
yeah.
fair old bit.
Yeah, too right and all. Regional Meccano stuff.
Yeah, you got more in them. You got more in them than you get now.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, you used to have some fantastic Meccano sets because they were built purposely. They were designed for people to learn engineering. That was what it was all about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that you could make and the plans, and they come in a proper box. If you could afford, you had a wooden box with all the parts, and you got the magazine. You could build all sorts. I mean, it was a whole flipping shebang, wasn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing going slightly off topic, but the toys that you could have in the 70s that they'd never be able to get away with making now.
Well, yeah, you take that.
Chemical sets, electrical sets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chemistry sets.
Yeah, I remember having a chemistry set, and my favourite bit was burning the magnesium.
Yeah.
I remember our health and safety gone wrong. I held it in my bare hands, and it got too hot, and I dropped it on windowsill.
Yeah.
And of course, I got a big brown burn mark on my windowsill, and I remember getting a good hiding for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good on you.
Our fourth cohort, Moz. Good to see you, mate.
Good evening.
Good evening, Moz.
Good evening.
You've just about managed to scrape in there before we move on to question 3. So we'll go back to question 1.
Yes.
What's the first model, not necessarily or diecast, you remember getting as a kid?
I don't. I really don't. I remember doing a mini with my father, who said that if I could complete the mini, I could do a lorry. And I don't think I ever completed that mini. But obviously, I did things like a Beetle. I did a Spitfire Hurricane back in the day, very poorly. And I remember a friend. I helped a friend and his dad build a space shuttle. I think it was Endeavour, Revell one, I think it was, back in the day. But to be honest with you, scale modelling is just always been there. Like and diecast as well. I had a mat, and I had all the diecast I could ever want as a child, really. Which then I gave to my stepbrother, or half brother, I should say, who was a few years younger than me, 10, 11 years younger than me. And he had them all then. But yeah, it's but getting back into it. I think I think it was about when I get married, 23, 24. I kind of I lost all track of doing it, and then back into my 30s, started doing it again by doing a few Revell jets, Airfix, and then I did some frog for a while because I had a few frogs that I collected, and that was it really. I did their Hotspur glider crumbs.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever noticed decals are not decals. You know what I mean? When I put them in water, and they looked great in the water, and as I pushed it with a brush, went to powder. That was it. So yeah, that was me.
All right. Question 2. Then you caught up with the rest of us. Best diecast or kit you've ever received as a Christmas gift. So even up to this present day, or do you have to buy them yourself?
Oh, I get given gift. I get given kits. I will say the best kit I've ever been given for Christmas was that Tempest 4 years ago. I ordered it and I was given it as a Christmas present by my beloved. I still maintain today that if there was a kit that would be, if you could enwrap a kit for a scale modeler who's struggling to get back onto the workbench, give them some paint, cement, whatever, that Airfix Tempest Mark V is one of the best mojo builds you'll ever build. And just the fact that the decals are just delightful on it, the invasion stripes perfect underneath and on top. Did a video on it. it's had quite a few thousand views or tens of thousands of views, that video. Yeah, and if I, you know, I've got, well, I bought a chunk load for the DSMC or the DASAM lot, like, you know. But I would, if I can buy them again as cheap as I did, I'd give them away just for people who are properly struggling. It is a phenomenal build, and there's no filler needed. You just put it together. You know, you can fill in if you want to where the join marks are on the fuselage, but there's no need to. Just relax and just build that. You can build it in about an hour and 30 minutes, then get on and start painting it. It's a wonderful little kit. And if there's something modern, if you want something that's really, really good to build now, there's the Chinook from Airfix. That's a great build in the last 2 years. The Blenheim. There's a crazy amount of kits out there that are really, really good. So, yeah.
All right. Question 3. I don't know whether this will apply because I don't suspect that people usually get what they ask for, not necessarily what this question implies, but worst, funniest, or most confusing model-related gift?
Oh. Have you boys answered that yet? Is this on to me?
So we'll give you because you lackluster and ended up third. We'll give you a minute. Martin, your most difficult kit, I guess, that you've received.
Most difficult.
Yeah. Or funniest.
Yeah.
Or
it's got to be a biplane of some sort, isn't it?
Oh, that rigging.
Yeah, I think it was. It was. Yes, it was. It was. Funny enough, the Airfix World War I bomber. What was it called, Moz?
Is it the SC? Not the
twin engine thing, big thing.
Was it like the British? Oh, I know the one you mean.
B something or other. It was bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's yeah. Have I got one up on my shelf?
Because
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Whitley, Vickers, Whitley, or something like that. Anyway, it was that one, and I thought, I can do this easy. Yeah, sure. I couldn't get the wings to stay on straight, flopping about all over the place. I thought I've got to get it straight. And don't forget, back in the day, when we were using their Humbrol glue, the Airfix glue, and what have you, we didn't have all the tooling we got nowadays. And I'm trying to balance the wing with pots of paint, Humbrol paint stacked up, trying to balance the wings, keep them in the middle. And when I thought I got it straight, I looked at it and it was twisted, and then one bit of the post would come out. I thought, flipping heck, and then the other bit would drop out. And it nearly ended up with a glue bomb because there was bits of glue everywhere on it. So,
Are we talking about the BE2C, the Royal Aircraft Factory?
Yeah, the big one with a twin engine bomber, had bombers underneath it and everything else. A real big one.
I don't think it was twin engine.
Yeah.
I think it
was a big bomber, World War I bomber, British bomber.
What's the Sopwith, was it? No,
bigger. No, I think it might have been a Vickers. I'm not sure. It's only what they'll tell us in the audience.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, while you guys look into that, Phil, weirdest, funniest, most difficult thing you let's open it up to a toy.
Not having done it for that many years. Haven't really had many Christmas presents, but I did get this year. Actually, I did get a small pack of Meccano to do a helicopter with. Wasn't difficult, other than the fact you forget how small those little nuts are. I'm trying to get them on with my fat fingers. It was trying to hold them on, then they'd fall off, and then you think you've got it right, and then all of a sudden it fell apart. I thought, but I don't think that's the kit that was difficult. It was just my dexterity, really.
I'm not sure about that. I think there are just to jump in. I'm going with a toy actually, rather than a die-cast or model. It was the flight deck. It was a jet on the end of a piece on a nylon bloody thing with a joystick at one end. And they had the nylon that went down to a flight deck and something like a Harrier on it that you had to try and land. The bloody thing never worked. Never worked in a million years. I'm not even sure whether it wasn't Matchbox designed.
It was FX. It's called a flight deck. It had a big line. You put it off the top of your stairs, and it would come down and land. And
a hook
you'd have to come
out and catch it like.
You have a joystick, don't you?
Yeah. It was an horrendous piece of thing. It promised so much and delivered so little.
It's like the Evil Knievel bike, wasn't it? It never worked.
No, I used to love my Evil Knievel.
A bit like that digital computer truck, that big track that never worked. You put your coordinates in and it just went where it went.
There were a lot of toys like that in that era where they were breaking into like electronics and stuff like this. There was a lot of toys, like you say, promised a lot and give naff all because they didn't work out the box, or you tried your best and they just couldn't work it, and you give up and you got thrown in the corner and I sod that, we'll get that later. You know, it was great, cracking.
Yeah.
All right, before I move on,
saying there, the best thing about Flight Deck was the graphics on the box.
Yeah. Handy page, I think that was a handy.
Before I move on to the next question, just a quick comment that I totally forgot. I was messaged by Jerry, who said, can we donate anything to Bob? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave that not necessarily to organise it, but if Martin hears anything, we'll put it up on the Facebook page. And we will, anything that we can offer to help with, we will do. So keep your ears to the ground on that. One thing that I can confirm is I was asked by Andy Bourne, will we be doing a Corgi build this year? Well, Corgi is on our list of things to do, but we'll also be doing an in memorial or in dedication of. So that's what that Corgi build will be. It will be our tip of the hat and memorial to Bob. So as many people want to take part in that Corgi event, please do so. Send us a before and after shot. It's not till, I think, June next year. Send us a before and after shot, and we'll include you in our monthly challenges. So that was just something that I forgot all about. So apologies for that. In the stream of things.
That model I was thinking about was a handy page 0400.
0400, crumbs.
Yeah, the 0400. And that was a night. Yeah. If I'll let you know.
Yeah, sorry, Martin. Go on.
If not, we'll just do a tribute build from next year on the Corgi when we comes up. Yeah.
We in the chat have identified the Andy Page 0400 as well, Martin, for you.
Yeah. I remember the flight deck with the plastic aircraft. My brother got that. I was so jealous of it. You saved yourself a lot of problems there, John. Leave that in the chat. You saved yourself a lot of disappointment and grief. All right.
It was like some of the board games you used to get. I mean, I remember that Mousetrap board game, and you used to take ages to set the blooming thing up. You know, and you spent more time setting it up than you'd actually playing it.
I've even brought a new version of that, and never, even till this day, never have got that ball to complete the course.
Yeah.
Because the bloody cage, you only take the slightest vibration, that bloody cage falls down.
Yeah. I think on that note, things like some of the board games, I mean, a lot of people don't play so many board games now, but it wasn't exactly a board game, but it was a game I got my kids, one of my kids when they were younger, and I played with it more than they did. It was Buckaroo.
Buckaroo.
And I used to, let me have a go. I'll have a go. I'll get it. And I used to love all that. Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, whilst you're on the subject of setting games up, do you remember Kaplunk when you had to
Yeah.
You had to put all them straws through before you could play.
Yeah. Ah, they used to make you work for your money.
They did to play it, didn't it? That was, yeah.
They used to make you work for your money there, didn't they? Or what was the other one? What is it? Pickup sticks, or they used to call it. There was another one.
Yeah.
You basically got a load of long sticks and chucked them on the ground in all colours. You had to pick them all out without moving the others. You know, crazy, but yeah.
But holidays in caravans and places. When you go to caravan, they were the games that you take away and play.
Your parents, my parents always got the board games out, and my old man always used to cheat. He always ended up winning for some reason. You know, blatant cheating some of the time, but yeah, blatant cheating. But
alrighty,
fun times.
I don't think this did for any of us, but well, I'm not sure. Did Christmas play a role in getting you into the hobby?
Nah.
I think this will be a straight no from most of us.
I wouldn't say get you into the hobby, but it basically used to keep you going. It used to keep you going.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Christmas time, because you think about it, you would go to your newsagents and you'd see that little shelf and they'd be all under a couple of quid, 3 or 4 quid. But there'd always be that one on the top shelf that would be like £30, £20, maybe even a 15 quidder. And you would, you go in there and your mum will give you your pocket money and you go and buy yourself a model kit. And then you look up and you see that big one and she'll notice you'd be looking at that big one. And then Christmas Day, there it would be at the bottom of the, near the sack of little toys and stuff. So, yeah. But as I said, my mum, they used to buy me a lot of model kits. But I was, as I was in, nowadays it's like there's always a model from somebody, wrapped up or what you like. But as I said, at the end of the day, it's for me now. It's not about the models; it's about the tools. So I leave the hints around of what sort of tool that I want.
Yeah, that makes us a lot more grown up that we use tools now, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say Christmas might not have influenced, but it certainly opens up a lot of opportunities for family to buy gifts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're right. There.
One of the chaps that I do a lot of modelling with, we're at the same model club. I got an email last year. One email was a Facebook message, and it was his stepdaughter. I knew her from when I was boxing. She used to train us in boxing about 5-6 years ago. I mean, a bit more than that, maybe 10 years ago, I should say. And she said, I don't know what to get him for Christmas. And I thought, well, what's your budget? She said, 30, 40 quid. And at that time, the Display, that little sander came into the market, didn't it? That little sander with the little pads. So I sent her a link for one of these. Anyway, Boxing Day, I done him a solid because he unwrapped that, and he was well chuffed with that replicating sander, sander.
Reciprocated.
That's the word. Yeah. So I done him a solid on that one.
Yeah, good. I tell you, is there many people? I mean, I don't know if you guys ever did it or your parents did it with you. Would have the stocking outside. My parents used to put it outside the bedroom door. Yeah, on the floor, so that if you got up in the morning, you didn't disturb them. You grabbed your stocking, and that was it. And and my kids do it with their kids even today. It's one of them things. But there was another old tut in it, but it kept you amused for an hour or two before you disturbed your parents. Yeah. Oh dear, you used to have the orange little game. I don't know where they got all the gear from. Little games and the smallest pack of cards you get your hands on, and the pin key rings and.
One of the stocking fillers I remember year on year without fail was. Do you remember the little polystyrene aeroplanes with the plastic weighting?
Yeah.
I think I must have got one of them every year.
Yeah.
What about the man in the parachute? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right.
Before you throw me, like.
The thing is, though, you would throw it out the window the first time, and that'll be it then. Because by the time it hit the floor, it got so tangled up,
Yeah.
you just couldn't be arsed of it then.
Yeah.
One, that's why they sold so many, because it was one use only. Then you would chuck it away.
The challenge wasn't making him fly it round where I lived. It was who could scale the tallest building, tree, or block of flats to
Throw
get them off.
Yeah. Yeah, I always remember a lad called Ashley who I grew up with. He had one of those planes. He threw it, and it was beautiful. It just glided so gorgeously at head height, and then this little puff of wind caught it, and it went up in the air into the tree, never again to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're crappy, they're little toys. Yeah.
Wind. But they were really good because you had like little cutouts, didn't you, for the ailerons and stuff, and you could make them.
Yeah.
You know, they were before their. They were really before their time.
I think you can still buy them now, can't you?
Oh yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
I bet they're not the same though. Probably
probably
not
not.
economically viable to make those anymore.
Yeah, cheap.
I just honestly, it's just a printed bit of foam, and then it's just die cast, isn't it? That's all it is.
There's not next to nothing to them. You know, you used to get them on the back of comics as well, like the Dandy and the Beano and stuff like that.
You did, yeah. You did.
Cornflakes boxes. We used to get them out of cornflakes boxes. Used to, very often in your cereal box, you get a present, and you think, oh, look, you've got in the cereal box, and you're in there, tip all the cereal out to grab the little toy out of the bottom of the cereal box or something. Yeah, brilliant. These Lego bags.
We need this box of Cocoa. It doesn't matter whether you like the cereals. Just have to have that box.
Got the toy in it.
Yeah.
You got the toy out of it.
Cocoa Pops sat on the shelf for about a month before my mum would get rid of them because we didn't eat them. All right, question 5, which is, I'm not sure whether this is appropriate. Did your family support the hobby or think it was just toys? I mean, that can apply to now. Do your family think that what you do is a hobby, or are we just a bunch of grown men collecting toys?
No, I think my missus supports my hobby.
Yes, she does.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Most people support it. Some people you've got to explain it to, but yeah.
Really, you don't have to explain it to them. A lot of people these days, if you say, "Oh, you're a scale model builder," they're like, "Oh, yeah." But if you say, "Oh, yeah, I build Airfix," "Oh, yeah," and they know. It's the most weirdest thing. I've done it. I've tried it. I've been somewhere who goes, "Oh, what's your sort of hobby then?" "Oh, I build scale models." "Oh, like, not really getting it." But if you say, my hobby, I love building Airfix, a little plastic. "Oh, yeah, I did one of them when I was a kid."
Yeah, it's a household name, isn't it? Really, Airfix, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you hoover or do you vacuum clean? Do you build
cleaning technician?
Yeah.
That's what they call our dustbin men. Cleaning technicians.
Yeah.
Sounds right. All right. Moving on to let's talk about.
I saw the comments there. The chocolate cigarettes. I remember them. You used to get the little cigarettes in a packet, didn't you? They were like
the candy ones,
little white candy, and
yeah.
Flip in there, red
yeah. You used to get collector cards in them as well, if I remember right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Right. Don't know if chicken with the fish. I've got anything to add, but this is moving on to a bit of more generalised diecast collecting section. Question 6: what scales do you collect, and why those scales? So, Martin,
for me, it's predominantly the small stuff, the 1/64 scale, mainly because I got into the Matchbox and more recently the Hot Wheels. But I think I started with the 1/43 scale because they're a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to kind of put back together, drill out, and the like. So yeah, just the 1/43 scale and the 1/64 for me.
Mark?
Yeah, I haven't really got a preference. Well, not really. If it's nice, no matter what a scale, I'll strip it and rebuild it. but logically, I suppose, realistically, it's 143 and under because of space. Really, to think about it. I mean, I've got these cabinets behind me, and they're rammed now. Bookcases rammed behind me. That most of them 143. Matchbox, like Phil said, that they're more manageable size to store. You can store them in drawers and small cabinets and stuff like this. The 1/18 scale, well, you got a lot of room for those. 124. But yeah, so to be me, I would say I would probably 143 and 164. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Moz. We've got a plastic kit building section coming up, and there's probably only you answering the questions and Martin, to be fair. So, question 7: how was your collecting? Well, you can answer this, Moz, as well. How has your collecting focus changed over the years, if it has at all?
Is that who's answering that?
Anybody who's got
one thing I would say is, if you'd have asked me a year ago, were you going to collect Hot Wheels, I'd have said no straight away.
True.
And then 6 months ago, I looked at some castings and thought, they're a lot more detailed than you think, these. And before you know it, well, you can see behind me, I've got hundreds of them.
Yeah,
we're buried under hundreds of bloody Hot Wheel cars now that Phil started collecting them. He's had a bit of bad influence, but he's been generous with it as well. So we're grateful to Phil and his Hot Wheel collection.
I think mine in a way has changed because, like I said, I start off with a diecast and that, and I think as you go on, you get an enthusiasm for something different. You're looking at your diecast and you're going, I want something different. And then you see it, like I did with the Tonkers. I saw the Tonkers and I thought, you know what? I'd like to see one of them, take one of them apart. The inquisitive nature, whatever. And I think, I could restore that with the mini Tonkers, a small one. And I thought, I'd like to have a go at one of those. So I started buying a few of those. And then that moves on to a bigger Tonka. Oh yeah, let's try a bigger one. I get a bigger one, And then it gradually escalates into, or I don't know, germinates, escalates. It progresses onto something else. Yeah. And then clockwork. I've always been fascinated with clockwork and wind-up toys. I'm thinking, the simple mechanism how they work, but they're not simple to repair or to restore, but they're simple looking mechanism until you get into them and see what the bits are worn out and what they're not worn out. So your interests basically stay the same, but in order to stop yourself stagnating, you sort of try and do something a little bit different to keep the enthusiasm going. So I mean, I'll do predominantly diecast, but I'll also split into doing like the tin plate stuff, and then go on to the clockwork or something like that, because it just keeps that, your mind going, your blood going, and stuff like this. I mean, I've got a tin plate boat coming. Should be here next week. Late 40s, early 50s, by a American company called Chin. When I first heard the name Chin, I thought obviously Chinese, but it's not. It's an American company, and that wants restoring. That looks pretty good. But yeah, so I just like to keep mine building diverse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it does escalate.
This kind of applies to what you do. Moz, scale preference?
The older I get, the smaller the number.
Yeah.
I mean that. 172 all the way for me. And then I started doing 148, and it's like 148 for me. And I'm just building this Messerschmitt. 124 for me. You know what I mean? And it's, it's starting to get there now. I'm really happy with how it all goes together. Still got some more bits to do. Like I've done the underside. I've added texture, so you can see, but the engine just absolutely, strapped on the front there, cockpits there as well. it's a beautiful, beautiful plane, and I'm thinking, 1/24th now for me. But I'll be honest with you, lads. I am somebody who really struggles for motivation after that 2 weeks. If I'm building a model after 2 weeks, kind of like, this is becoming a bit of a. I like to keep bashing them out. That's why I tend to stick with the 148s. But this one here has been an experience. But also, I started at the wrong time of year. Because as you can imagine, with my job, with my business, eBay is just absolutely horrendous at the moment. So much stuff's coming in, so much stuff's going out. And I'm just jumping on the bench when I can because I've got the discos as well in the evening and the karaoke. So it's taken a bit longer than I expected. I've been on it about 9 days now, and I thought I would have at least got the painting of it done and then just start putting other bits together, but it hasn't worked out that way. But as I say, I'm really happy with how it's all coming together. I can't fault it. It's a cracking kit. Recommended, and because I lost a bit, good old Airfix of good old Dale has sent me the part J47 that flew off. I think it ended up in Scotland, and I cut off the sprue and I did. I had my fingers underneath it, and I just put the cutter in, and as I just heard it go like that, it like one blink and it disappeared. And I couldn't even hear where it landed. You've got half a chance when you can hear when it's landed. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure that ended up in Scotland, that one, because, I never heard it land. So I can finish the dashboard on that as well now. I've got that bit there ready.
I think for me, first getting started, I haven't done one for a while. I'm the first one to hold my hands up and say that. But when I first got started, it was 64 scale ones because they were the easiest ones to do. But as Martin says, Martin's moved on to clockwork models and all sorts. But I think that I agree with Moz. Your eyesight starts to affect you to a certain extent when you're doing detailing on 1/64 scale. But also the challenge of doing like the Jerry Anderson vehicles, where you've got a mechanism inside and it takes a bit more putting it back together, and you've got to really think it through. I think that's part of the challenge. And 143 scale for me are easier to. It's simple. They're easier to work on. Detailing inside, outside, because usually if you're doing 1/64 scale, you've got a top chassis and windscreen. How many times have you detailed the inside of a 143 scale, Martin? Engine bays, things like that.
Yeah.
So the bigger the car, as we were saying, the bigger the challenge. But I enjoy doing the 143 scale. But my best challenge so far is this Partworks Batmobile. I've thoroughly broke the tumbler. I mean, this damn thing's not damn thing. That's unfair to say, but it's 2 foot long. If I'd got the money, I'd be doing them as a YouTube channel, like the guy does them now, like just building partwork kits. But I've really enjoyed doing that until I come to a standstill when I broke apart. But thankfully, Martin brought me a resin kit to try and recreate the part that I've broken, and I'll be cracking on. I spent 2 solid days on it. I was gutted that I broke this part because I really wanted to catch up as much as I could. But yeah, for me, it's 143 scale predominantly now.
Well,
go on, Mark.
You're on about 1/64 scale. Now I'm starting the remodeling tomorrow, Monday. But I was trying to get a couple of videos out, and I've been trying for a few days now to get this Husky Man from Uncle car done. And that thing has caused me more problems than enough. Really, seriously, for a little car with a one firing missile, that thing I could have built loads of stuff. But it's what it is at the minute. Like Moz said, I lost a spring. One of the springs. There's a spring in the chassis, which operates the missile, and I got it out, no problem. Cleaned it all, went to put it back in again, and I was lining it up, and it pinged off, and that's it. It's gone, and I can't find it. So I thought, all right, I'll get a biro. So I'm going around getting biros, collecting all the biros up. They click biros, and no, they don't fit. And I've got an array. I've even got one of them boxes of multi springs you buy from the shop. None of them fit. You get the length, but when you go to close it together, because it's got 3 sections, you've got the base of the chassis, then you've got the plastic centerpiece where the driver and passenger sit, and that's got a hole in it where the spring goes through and the missile goes through. Then the spring locates in the base of the chassis. But when you try and put the two together, if your spring diameter is not spot on, it won't close and it jams. All right. So I've got it painted. The glass disintegrated on me, and I kept blowing the vac form machine up. Didn't I? I told you about that.
Yeah.
So I made my own glass, got it fitted, perfect. I had a problem with the paint because it was something wrong with the casting, but I cleaned that up, got that working. That's fine. I tell you, it's just I've been on it this evening for an hour or two. I've got that many springs in front of me trying to get the right one to fit correctly to do it. So I don't know. I might shelve that one for now, and I'll see if I can find another one on eBay cheap enough, which has got the spring, and go that way around. I put a screw in it so I can screw it together, but that thing's been open and shut, and for a simple little car, it's just caused me so much grief in the last couple of days. So the bus will be a bit late. The bus will be a bit late. My bus video.
That's all right, mate. We can extend it.
Don't worry
about it.
Sorry, PJ.
What was I forgot the question, wasn't it? Has your collecting focus changed over the years? Was that the one?
Well, I mentioned, didn't I, about the Hot Wheels? But
yeah.
Other than that, no. I mean, I've not been doing it many years, so it's probably about to change.
You kind of got to the end of your Hot Wheel journey.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I was doing, and somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier. I decided earlier this year that I would collect the Matchbox 1 to 75 range, and I decided to choose the last kind of car model before it went to the Superfast, so the last regular wheels of each of the 1 to 75. I think that's my collection as it stands at the minute.
Very nice.
I've got all 75. Some of them are in better condition than others. There's some very, very good condition ones that aren't worth restoring because the quality's too good. But there's one or two that I am on the lookout for. And that then pushed me on to the Hot Wheels as well. So there's a few of those. But I think once you've got a collection, there's not much more I can do on that line. So yeah, I'm probably going to look at the next kind of phase of restoring, but we'll see.
All right, we'll fit a question in while in between questions.
Yeah.
Moz, name one tool you've brought in the last 2 years that you can't live without.
Oh, can't live without. Oh my word! I'm just gonna. Well, this is a new set that I got, but a pair of these, which has got a times 1.5 on the front, and I think these are 2.5. Because I think they were set for 3. They were a little bit too strong. A pair of these. I don't know what. There's a little lamp that goes on it. And
Yeah.
you know what it's like. You put it up to charge it, and you can't remember where you bloody put it to charge. But this came with a lamp as well. This stays on my head throughout the whole of the build. I'll make sure I'm straight. There you go. I mess about Oh God, let's get this right. Hang on.
Glasses on or glasses off?
Yeah, so that's on. And make sure it's tight. So he's on tight, and that stays on with the light on. And then if I'm working on most of it, I just put the one down. Look at the one. I've got a little thing here on the side that that can really blow things up.
Yeah.
And then so I got the one, and then sometimes if I'm really going in deep, I'll bring down the 2.5 times, and then I'll be there working. And the best thing about these is the fact that I can be there working, thinking I'm really struggling here, just to see a little bit more, and I whack this front one down, and then you've got basically 4. So yeah, it's a phenomenal tool. I got it from Brooks Models. So the second, my first one, plasticky thing, I got from Temu. It's like you go on and you play their games and you end up with buy this for a penny, and I think I bought it for a penny or something. But I don't think I can live without this anymore. I think this has always been the game changer to have something like this on the bench. And I'm not joking. When you're looking at really small stuff,
Yeah.
Decals, stenciling, looking at where you're drilling as well. Honestly, people say decent set of sprue cutters. Well, you don't really need that because you can use a knife and then use your sanding stick. Oh, what about sanding sticks? Well, you can get away with sandpaper or an emery files. You can go back through, but really, you can't replace these.
For you personally, they're a game changer.
I think anyone, if you start using these, they're a game changer. I speak to a lot of scale modelers, and they can get away with using a hairy stick to an airbrush. Do you know what I mean? Or you can go backwards, but having one of these on your head just permanently there, you don't need to use it all the time. I get that, it's there for what it is. You don't need to use it all the time, but once you've got it and you're there using it, you just don't want to take it off, because you lift it up and have a good look, back down again to have a look at what you're doing, back up again, back down again. I did have one of these. I don't know if you can see on the camera, one of these. This, of course, is old. I've had this for about 10 years now with a light on it. It's all very well when you're doing it there. It's a faff. Having this on your head, up and down, is just smooth easier than pulling that in and out. So that is my number one tool. I got it from Brooks Models. So there you go. That's my take on that.
Okay. Excuse me. Carded versus loose. This is probably best. Carded versus loose. In other words, what Phil's got behind him are carded.
Yeah.
What we collect,
I don't think I need to answer that.
Carded all day long. I don't know, because you just showed us your cabinet with all your Matchbox, the 75 series.
Oh, they're not new, though. They're not new there, obviously.
No, they're loose. You brought them loose as opposed to carded. So, do you keep your eye out equally, Phil, for carded versus
Matchbox, Dinky, Corgi? No, I don't expect to find new. Albeit, I do have some new Matchbox. But Hot Wheels, I don't think I've got any loose unboxed Hot Wheels. They're all carded.
Yeah, because you're not into the fantasy ones either, are you? It's like it's more the new European range that's come out.
Yeah,
which they've done an excellent job of. I was never a big Hot Wheels fan until Phil started showing us all the ones that he'd been collecting, and then we all started making a mad scramble for Hot Wheel cars for whatever reason, right? Martin, you predominantly loose.
Yeah, loose for me, mate. Loose junk. Yeah, that's what I'm into. But I do, for my Jaguar collection, I'll go for mint boxed, or if it's rare, then I'll if it comes unboxed, it comes unboxed. But yeah, for my personal collection, if I can get it boxed, then yeah, well.
Okay, we don't not necessarily one for mods, that one, but What's the most impressive diecast? This again probably points towards Phil. What's the most impressive diecast release you've seen this year?
This year.
Which of your Hot Wheel range stuck out above the others?
Well, it wasn't released this year, but I did buy it this year. There was a BMW, which was the same colour, the same spec and everything as one that I owned.
Yeah.
So I was quite chuffed when I purchased that, but that was just a personal thing. I did discover a Hot Wheels specific shop in the town where I live, and they had infinite number of Ford Escorts, Ford Sierras, the Focus, BMWs, Mercedes, some of which I'd never seen. So I was quite happy to discover that and bought those, or some of those. I think I did pick up. It's only in 2025 when I managed to get all 75 of that Matchbox series as well. So quite impressed I've done that. I've only really been doing this for a couple of years. So
Yeah. We do have
any thoughts? Any thoughts, Phil, on going with the trying to collect the Hot Wheels red line?
Not thought about it yet. There's
called the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I've only seen one, because obviously the shops and everything around here at the minute are doing the main line. You get the odd treasure hunt, but yeah.
All righty, Martin. Do you keep up to date with?
Well, no, not really. To be honest with you, no, I don't keep up with the new stuff that's coming out unless I know it's a new Jag and I fancy it. Then yeah, but apart from that, not really. No.
I mean, we do the Stafford. That Phil's now joined us on the Stafford trip, where we go predominantly looking for loose vehicles. More often than not, but I must admit I've been inspired to collect a few Hot Wheels by Phil's collection, and especially when there was some new Ford Escorts coming out. I love the Ford Escorts, but there's some they seem to have realised, Hot Wheels, that they've hit on something with these more European builds, less fantasy. And people are scrambling for them, as probably Phil will tell you. The old boys going through boxes now, Aldi, it's ridiculous. Okay, what's the most? I know they're not original, but I do like the re-release of some of the Corgi Club stuff. If you're purely into collecting. You can go and view the Corgi website. You don't have to be a member. They are, I think, they're between 25 and 30 quid, or someone will correct me if I'm wrong, for the new releases. But if you want the new Batmobile, Chitty Bang Bang, things like that haven't been done for a while, the Corgi Club, if you are purely a collector, I think they've done the James Bond as well, DB7. So yeah, mix and match for me, really, but predominantly loose. Right. What's a release? And this applies to everybody. What's a release you passed on and instantly regretted? Something come out, Moz, that you think, nah, that's not for me. And then 6 months down the line, you went, damn, wish I'd have got that because it's now tripled in price or whatever.
No, there's not.
That'll do.
Well, what do you know? If it's an Airfix kit, I've probably got it already. If it's a Reebok,
Yeah.
I always buy the new tooling. I think my buying habits now is not necessarily model kits. It's everything that goes with modeling. You know, if I went to Jadlam last week, ended up buying this, the tool combo set, just because it's something that, I haven't got one of these for 30 quid, and I want to have a look at it and see what if they're worth anything. You know, if they're worth worth a look. You know, you've got there adorning hobby knife, a phoenix plume panel liner, semi-rigid sanding sticks, hobby knife blades, folding scissors, a model parts detacher, angle tweezers, straight tweezers, single blade nipper, carbon fiber sanding pad, a glass polishing file, self-adhesive sandpaper, reusable abrasive sponge, you name it, you've got it there. And I thought, it might be worth a look for 30 quid. So, because
Did
it's
it come
display,
with, did it come with a screwdriver to fit your 3D printer?
pardon, sorry?
Did it come with a screwdriver to fit your 3D printer?
3D printer. But then I saw this on the shelf and I thought, well, I had a drive in one of these back in the day. And it was 50 quid mine. This is not cheap for 124, 50 quid. And they say it's, what makes me laugh is it's the AE500 according to the box. But if you look closely, I don't know if you can see that there, it's a bloody 380.
Yeah.
Not a 500. Well, come on. But I thought I'd buy it to have a little play with, and at the same time I got the Hamden as well. So which is a brand new tool release, which I've done a video on, by the way, if you want to go and watch it. But my own, I don't get regrets. My regret is the fact I never build half of this stuff that I have bought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bet there's loads of stuff there that you wish you got around to restoring by now.
Yeah, it's true. I've got a pile of stuff that I think, I'm never going to get them done. You want to, but there's not enough hours in the day.
Or you just haven't got the oomph to do it, which is my problem.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got kits here that I'm going to build that one day, but the latest kits come along, so that pile gets lower and lower. And all the newest
back of the queue.
Yeah. Back of the queue.
Yeah.
Club.
Phil, come across anything that you'd wish you'd have brought?
No, not really, because I buy things because I like them. To be honest, I've stopped the kind of impulse and grabbing everything and then regretting it. I kind of, if I like the casting or I like the shape, I know it's a Ford or whatever, I'll buy it anyway. But yeah, I very rarely regret it. And I don't think there's anything at the minute that I missed. Don't think there's anything I've missed.
Fair enough, mate. Martin, anything?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I don't regret. Well, sometimes I regret buying some stuff, but even with a box of junk, if I buy a box of junk off eBay, I always see the potential in what's in there, and I'm thinking, the old brain starts to go, I could do that, even if it's a pile of old corroded that I got off the guy at Miles Poultry. I thought they've obviously been in the shed now. We've got really, really bad. I did that. I think it was a little robo I did. I enjoy doing that, but I don't get buyer's remorse. I bought it for a reason, and if somebody's rings me up or contacts me and says, have you got a part for this or have we got a part for that? And if I've got it, pass it on. I don't mind that aspect of it as well, because what goes around comes around. You do a trade, they might have something you want, or you might have something they want, that sort of thing. But there is a few things.
Make sure that's the agreement, though, Martin.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's a pot of paint for a £5, and you end up with somebody wanting a £35 kit. You know what I mean?
I know you're right. Yeah.
This is a true. My mum told me this is a true story. She told me this afternoon. A friend of hers that she goes to one of these ladies' clubs with had seen some furniture online that she thought would look really good in the garden, and it was reasonably priced. So she bought it, and when it was delivered, it was doll's house garden furniture.
Oh my God! Oh blimey!
Devastating.
Oh no.
Gutted.
So whether they've done, the guy Martin that takes diecast photos against,
Yeah.
like can't remember his name is.
Yeah. America. Yeah.
Whether they've done that kind of scene, and she, was suckered into it. Well, I don't know, but crikey, when your garden furniture turns up in a shoebox, there's something seriously wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, how many people have actually, like you say, how many people who could honestly say that they bought a diecast or I would say diecast because it's easily mistaken. Bought a diecast, and when they received it, it's not the size they imagined it to be what was in the photograph.
Yeah.
Because of the way the photograph's been done, and if you're not familiar with the diecast scales and you're not familiar with the vehicles themselves and what's involved in, you could quite easily be thinking, oh, that looks about a 124 or 143, and it ends up to be a 164 because of the way the photograph's been taken, especially with the HD photographs and the way it's positioned, and you see a lot of it in when you want to buy a caravan or you want to buy a house, you'll see, oh, that room looks really massive. And it's not. It's the way they position the camera and the way they've done the picture to make everything look bigger than what it really is. You've got to get caught out.
Well, it's like that there was that old scam on there on eBay where people used to put a can of Coke next to a model, and you would think, cool, that's a good size, I'll buy that. And then some of the buggers would buy those little mini cans of 150 ml, the little mini cans.
Yeah.
Put that beside the model. Yeah, it was hella. It was quite a problem at the time. Yeah, it was. Make the model look bigger than what it was. But when I do vintage and I put up the Ferrari collection, it's you tell them it's 112 scale, 120. I don't know what scale it is now, but I always put the ruler next to it. I've got a tape measure. I get the old Raymond Ramon out and put a tape measure along the width of the base, so people don't get suckered into, or I was expecting a 112th here and it's a 118th, whatever it is, Yeah, it's definitely one of them.
All right, I'm gonna skip a couple and put two together into one. What's a brand do you think is overrated? Stroke, what brand deserves more attention? So, Martin, is there a diecast that you think is overrated, or is there one that you think deserves more attention?
Difficult to say that because I deal in most of the older stuff. There is a lot of new stuff out there which is completely trash and junk, all plastic. But the older stuff, like your Corgis, Dinkies, Budgies, Lone Star, I think Lone Star, to me, the vehicles, the quality of their, I've got quite a few 143 scale Lone Star, not the MP range, the I can't remember the name they call it now. There is a particular name they call it, but I found them to be of poor quality. The plastic bumpers, very much like a Spot On, the plastic bumpers are snapped and broken a lot of the time. The castings are pretty poor quality to me. So Lone Star vehicles, I'm not saying anything about their other diecast range or their guns and stuff like that, but their particular vehicles, especially in the Roadmaster range, not so much the Lone Star Impy, but the Roadmaster, which is a 143 scale, I find the quality of those were pretty poor, to be honest with you. Bit disappointing. And, the same as Spot On, nice cars, nice detail, but when it comes to the plastic parts they use on, very brittle, break off, that sort of stuff, you know, and they're very expensive. But to me, I would say disappointing would be the Lone Star Roadmaster scale.
Yeah. I'll jump in with the. I think the overrated are the new Matchbox releases. Purely, as you mentioned, Martin, they're nothing like the Matchbox we collected as kids. They've got plastic bottoms. They look like they should be right, but plastic chassis, no, not for me. So that was a letdown. Underrated, not underrated with everybody, is Majorette from a restorer's point of view at 164 scale, because of the ease with which they come apart and how they design their chassis builds. I don't know whether it still applies to the latest Majorettes. I'm not sure. Laz would know. But certainly the 70s Majorettes, I think, are a great little build if you want to take the hobby up, and less complicated to sort chassis out, let's put it that way. Phil?
I'd agree with you on the Majorette. Yeah. Incidentally, on the Matchbox new cars, if you like, for 2026 castings, there's a few coming out. There's a 2024 Audi RS5 to look out for. There's a 2024 RS3. There's the brand new Aston Martin Vanquish is coming out in 2026. A couple of Honda Civics, BMW Z4, and a Toyota RAV4. All new castings for Matchbox 2026.
Yeah, right.
MP Flyers, I think Martin is all he says.
No, they weren't the Flyers, Ian. No, they weren't the Flyers, mate. MP Roadmaster.
John saying, sorry, I'm clicking the wrong thing. John saying, Roadmaster's Lone Star, Martin.
Yeah, that's the one, John. Yeah.
Right. We'll skip on to a couple of. We'll let Moz rattle through these if he can.
Okay. I'm ready.
Right. Less than 5 word answers.
I was just laughing at that Jester Urger comment. I can hear Laz say, John.
Just a word on Laz. He's good. Me and Martin spoke to the other day. He's travelling between Romania and Hungary at the moment. Misses everybody. Still well involved. Go and view his channel. He's just put a Jag up, I think, where he's brought a spare part for it. I'll let him tell you the story on it. I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but go and check Laz's latest video out. Right, now let's bring the builders, we won't say assemblers because I don't want to insult them, builders into the spotlight. What kind, you can do this in a one-word answer. What type of kits do you enjoy most? Cars, planes, armour, sci-fi or ships?
I'm going to level with you. I'm changing all the time. At the moment, I'm enjoying a plane, but last month I was enjoying tracks. I did a few tanks last month, or the last couple of months have been tanks. And then before that, it was wheels with the Stolly, the Stalwart and the tractor that I've done this year. Do you know what? My advice to any scale modeler, don't stick within your subject matter. Embrace it all. You learn something new all the time. With planes, you're weathering, with shading and all your smoke and your paint wear. Then you get to your cars and you end up and you're doing a lot more rusting effects and things like that. And then you get to like the Stolly and your armor, and you're doing more dirt and build up of dirt and dust effects. So don't be pigeonholed pigeonholed. I'm only ever going to do commercial aircraft because you won't develop your skills that way. And remember that every build you do, you get better. You know.
There you go. Quick 5 words. There you go.
That was 5 minutes.
Next one. Out of the box builds or heavy customization?
Out of the box all the
Good.
time.
Moving on. What's the kit you're most proud of finishing?
My latest, well, it's that Ferguson, actually. That track. Look at that track. It's broken at the moment. I went to a model show, and as I was going to the show, I had it on the front seat with the seatbelt on.
Right.
And I was going down towards, and it's in a school, me being me. So over the pumps, the speed bumps, and there was a frigging hidden one, and I came in a little bit too quick, and I bounced. And even though the box stayed still, I knew damn well that model went up and down inside that box, and it snapped off, and the wheel came off everything. So yeah, that Ferguson, because that was the first time I've ever used the Humbrol chipping solution. And I got a good result out of it.
All right. I'll answer this one for you. What's the kit you still haven't finished? The one behind him.
Yes.
Moving on. Biggest mistake you've ever made on a build?
The biggest mistake I've ever done on it. That's a good question.
That'll be a standard doors and Bombay doors, won't it?
I think it was the worst mistake I ever done was think I could do photo etch in a mini art kit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Mate.
I've got 4 or 5 mini art kits upstairs in the loft. I open up the lid, that big sheet of photo etch back in the box. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'll open the next
answer that one. The biggest mistake that you've made.
Getting started is usually
no. On your Thunderbird 2. Come on, spill it.
Oh, God, I've not heard this story yet, have I?
Well, yeah.
I can actually show you now because we mentioned Laz, bless him. This is a true story, a funny story on Laz's behalf. Laz brought a collection from off eBay, and he paid. I won't say what he paid for it, but it wasn't cheap. And he had it sent to Martin's house, and Martin was going to send it over to his own. And when Martin opened the box and he showed Laz what he'd brought, half of them were Jerry Anderson models, and half of them was it Magic Roundabout models?
Yeah, cartoony type things, weren't they?
Yeah. So Martin ended up having one half the box. Laz kindly donated me the other half of the box, and he got one car out of the box and a few decals. And it wasn't like he paid a $5 for it, but I won't tell you how much he paid. But he lost it, and I think by the time he brought it, paid postage to have the car sent over. It wasn't worth the price of the car. But anyway, the point being, Laz has donated.
That's Phil.
Phil, he's donated Phil.
Yeah.
Thank Phil. Laz has donated this Thunderbird 2. Now it's the blue version, but the bottom of it is plastic, as you can hopefully make out there. So after many months of searching, that was the one that I'd originally got, and I thought it was metal, so I put it in caustic soda.
Oh,
yes, biggest mistake I've ever made on a build, and that was just purely not realising. I thought it was a metal base and stuck it in there, and it wasn't like it was there for 5 minutes. It was there for about half an hour, so it warped.
It had a right number on it.
Yeah.
I can imagine your face pulling that out.
Oh, I was not a happy camper. Anything that, because I treat my Jerry Anderson stuff like it's my kids or my grandkids. Well, it's just, don't go near that. Don't go near that. We can open this one up. Martin, biggest mistake you've ever made on a build?
Yeah, starting it. Yeah, starting it. But there's quite a few that I've started and I've regretted it, and I've put them on the shelf, and I've still got yet to do them. Biggest mistake. Yeah, I've done similar to you, Paul. I put something in the caustic soda in the early days, not knowing exactly what it was, and I pulled it out, and there was nothing on the end of the wire. It was completely. I think it was a set of wheels. I think it was a set of wheels, and I thought, yeah, I'll put them in there. And I did a caustic soda. Paint came off perfectly, and I thought, I'll get the body out. Done that. Got the base out. Done that. And I pulled out the wire, which I put the wheels on, and I just lifted it up. There's nothing on it. Oh, where's the wheels gone? And they haven't fell off because it's a complete loop and it's tied up. So, yeah, wheels. Yeah, wheels was one. Terrible. That's the biggest regret I've done.
You've been known to get the kettle mixed up with your caustic soda tin,
haven't you?
Yeah, it's not.
What I've done.
Don't go for a brew round the Dare's house. There's no telling what you're going to get.
Yeah, I've got a Pacific kettle that I use in my shed for boiling the water for the caustic soda. I had a bright idea. I thought, well, I have a rinsing tray as well. So when it comes out of the caustic, it goes into the rinsing tray, and it sits in there for a little while, rinsing round. And I thought, well, I'll chuck the caustic soda water away. And I thought, the rinsing thing, I'll put that back in the kettle. I can reuse that. Yeah, I thought, that's fine. So next time I did caustic soda, switch the kettle on, the flipping heck. The kettle was bubbling and boiling. There was froth everywhere, poured all out the top. Oh, flipping it. And that was just that little bit of residue water what I used for soaking in. And I tipped it in the kettle, and just like Mount Vesuvius going off. It was boiling and boiling and boiling. Yeah, that was a thing I might live down. Yeah, flipping heck. Yeah.
Well, my connection's a bit dodgy. Phil, you've made something. It's only been 2 years.
Yeah, same thing. I started off doing a few of those Jerry Anderson Magic Minis, the stripe of the Magic Mini.
Oh, yeah.
And if you forgot to get the jeweled headlights out, put them in caustic soda, disappeared. Did that a few times. And then getting super glue everywhere, that common mistake as well.
All right, that was a quick. Again, this one could apply to all of us. How do you recover from, I think, touched on this, how do you recover from burnout, or Martin?
Change, do something different. If I feel like I'm getting fed up with something, or I've had a few, sometimes if I'm doing restorations, I'll have like a 2 or 3 not disasters, but 2 or 3, what I thought was easy, going to be fairly simple restorations, and they turn out to be a lot harder work and have a lot more problems. Like the casting, once the paint has come off, needs a lot more work to the body shell and stuff like this, where you're filing and sanding and filling and all this sort of malarkey. And then you'll do another one which will be very similar, where the glass doesn't fit properly or the glass is cracked, and you've got very similar to the Man from U.N.C.L.E. thing. And then you do a couple of them and you think, you know what, I'm getting a bit naffed off with this. I'll change and do something different. I'll pick out one of the clockworks or one of the tin plates or something else, just to keep yourself going, but get away from that.
Yeah.
Get away from it. Put it aside.
Yeah. Taking a break is not the answer. As Martin said, do something different.
Yeah.
I do not take a break. I do something different. That's really how I see it, and it is, but don't put it in a box and put it on a shelf and forget about it. Just crack on with a different model. Or do something that, I don't think burnout is really to do with a particular model you're doing. I think sometimes it's just, you get so enthralled in a model and you do it and you complete it, and then you realise that you've put all your effort into it, and then you struggle to get the next model onto the bench. And And that's where diecast has been helpful for me, because, like, you know, I was struggling a couple of months ago, and I ended up just giving this a really good clean, and then I painted and done this one up, and I tried to match the colours of it. You know, and I think I've done a pretty good job on it, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
in there. I put the black liner and done the red, and I didn't have to take the wheels off because the die-cast wheels as well. I just worked around it, really. Those pens are phenomenal, though. Those AK pens for doing those wheels and doing the edges. You know, just push down and around there. That's all I did with it, and then give it a matte coat straight after. But yeah, that came up really, really nice.
Phil?
Yeah, as Moz says there, do something different. I've purchased some kits. I did my first Airfix this year, and I literally probably won't start a restoration unless I'm in right mindset now.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that Airfix kit, Phil?
Yeah. I won't say it were easy, although it was for a beginner.
Yeah.
Simply because I'd never done one before. So I think the hardest part is supporting it while you're also trying to glue parts. Yeah. Or cement parts. It's not glue, is it? But yeah.
There's not a better time for anyone to build Airfix or restore diecast because of the power we have on YouTube. Now, it is just an example, right? So, have I got cards here? I haven't got any cards here, I don't think. I've got a business card. So, I got a business card, and I can make a card disappear like that and bring it back again. It's a magic trick, okay? Now, years ago, you would learn this by reading a book, and it will have a diagram of your hand in this position, then your hand in this position, and then it'll be like that position, and then that position. And you would have to learn, you know, you would look at the pictures and diagrams to learn how to make a card appear and disappear behind your hand. And then I never quite got this technique. I was looking at the book and what's this? But it's just the nuances on, you know, and I watched a video on how to do this particular trick. And what was missing was the fact that you would push on these parts. You would see the guy actually explain it. They don't show it in the picture. You push with these two fingers to make it curl. And that's the curl that makes it hide behind your hand. And it's the same with model kit building now. You can read all the books showing you step by step on how somebody's done it. And you could read the words. But that is nothing on watching somebody do it in real time, explaining themselves doing it. And that's what I think is so wonderful about, you know, you've got these people who started doing Airfix years ago, and they would get their paintbrush. This is the one thing. They get their paintbrush, and then the first thing they do is they'll whack a load of cement on the end of that brush and then brush it everywhere. Then they realise why it's melted everything. And then it's because the instructions tell you, or they would use the cement and you actually squeeze the tube of cement onto the line. And it isn't until somebody actually said to me years ago, I'll get a cocktail stick, get a little dollop of it, put it in, and then just dab it gently on that line. You don't need a lot of it. So, you know, you're seeing people, and even on the instructions, you see a tube of it. You know, don't bring the model to the tube. You bring the cement to the model, and that was what it was. So, yeah, that's how it's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's something. So if you really want to get down, and I've done a few videos on how to build the tanks, etc. It's all the nuances that you can see, and you know, seeing it done in real time is a lot better than reading books and seeing pictures. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think from my point of view is, I mean, I've got a channel that's stayed dormant for quite a while now.
Shame.
Well, yeah, it is. But you take on all these different roles, I guess, one way of putting it, and you could end up spreading yourself too thin. So you've got projects left behind, or you're not able to take part in one. But that's it's not a price of pay. It's not a price I pay. That's the wrong phrase. It's what I choose to do. and I'm fortunate that our Facebook page is growing week by week by week. We're hoping that this Facebook, this YouTube channel will start to take off. We've got to chuck some more content at it. We realise that. So I'm and I like doing some graphic design. I'm doing these part works, but again, I would consider putting on YouTube unless I'd started it from the beginning.
Was it already built? Was it?
Well, it was part built. It was, as mentioned before, Martin had a lot of. He hasn't inherited. He's taken on his shoulders to sell a lot of stuff on behalf of one of his family members. Martin will explain it better than I will, but anyway. But I made a agreement with Martin to take on the Tumblr, and I could, if I was doing that, I'd have a studio set up to do that style non-stop. There's no getting away from it. But then again, we're also looking at 3D printing. There's looking after the YouTube. It sounds like a whinge now. So yeah, it depends how many caps you're wearing, how many hats you're putting on, and swapping and changing.
I as I said, I feel that. You know, so I've got a big YouTube channel, and I always make chance to do a live stream a week.
Yeah.
Try and do a video a week. But you got to remember, you know, my Scale Model Club's got 30,000, or was it nearly 40,000 people in it? You know, so I said, you know, sometimes you do wear a lot of hats. I've got a Discord group, you know, I've got Facebook, you know, I've got to keep my Twitter going. So, you know, there's always room to do a video, mate. Always room to do a video.
Well, hopefully we get a bit more done in the new year. Because you currently doing paintbrushes or no, we won't go into that. That's all on its own. I'll say the question, but I'm not going to ask the question. You see what I mean? Paintbrushes or airbrush, and why? So we'll park that one for.
That is a whole
subject.
That'll be in 2027 when we've got through the other 26 subjects we're going to do.
All right, let's move on to this one. How are we for time? We've got 10 minutes left. Again, this is open to all of us. Advice you'd give to someone building or restoring their first kit, car, call it what you will. Martin, what's the number one bit of advice you think you'd give? Tough question, really, but
go home. Yeah.
Go home. Put it back down. Don't buy it.
Yeah, there's no there's no real single answer. But I want to say, if you're a first time restorer, or you want to try, don't try to be too ambitious. Get something simple. I would advise anybody to, you can still get them, or early Corgis, early Dinkies, with no windows, no interior, or some of the early Matchbox with no interior, no windows. Simple. Start off simple, and so you don't give yourself a lot of stuff. There's no point starting off with a James Bond, DB4 or 5 or whatever, or a flipping Chitty Bang Bang or a Batmobile or stuff like this. Start off something simple. Preferably with non-opening doors. Opening bonnet's probably all right, or opening boot would be better than a bonnet, because bonnets sometimes have spring mechanisms and stuff to them. Yeah, start off something simple, just so you can achieve something, because there's nothing worse than starting a job and not being able to finish it because you've come across complications that you didn't think were going to be there, or you can't manage it for whatever reason. That's disheartening. Get something small, something simple, strip it, repaint it, detail it, and then you sit there and think, yeah, I can do another one of them, and then do another one. Just get your hand in. You know,
Yeah.
don't kill your enthusiasm on the first one. That's what I'd say. That's my personal
Right.
advice.
Phil, from your beginning experience, what's
Yeah, I mean,
what advice do you give?
it sounds obvious, but as Martin said, start with something simple. Do a little bit of research on YouTube, fully understand the plan, and it should work out great. And like I said earlier, I've done my first airfix this year. Read the instructions, put a plan together how you're going to do it, and it does come. It's good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Moz, is there? I mean, you talked about the scale that you now prefer. Are there any starter kits of that scale that are not going to cost people an arm and a leg? If you see what I'm getting at.
No, I was just thinking of this question and feeling, you know, you're all right. RTFM every single time. Remember that RTFM, but not on that scheme. No, not on that. Not for 135th. I would recommend if you're going to do a tank, the Tamiya 148 scale tanks and armor are pretty good, and they're around 20 quid. But again, you know, there's only, as I said, you know, just heard you saying watch as many YouTube videos on the subject first. Yeah, and true. But as I said, you know, RTFM every single time. You know, you know what RTFM stands for?
Yeah,
Get on with it.
leave one word out.
All right, then read the friggin' manual.
Yeah.
RTFM.
Not
Do
like
you-
those blokes who the first thing they do is chuck the manual away and then wonder what they did with it.
Well, people say, "Oh, what's the first thing?" Oh, you wash it. No, you read the instructions, and the first thing the instructions will say, "Wash the kit." You know, so it's simple, but yeah, do watch videos.
That's actually probably a number one good piece of advice.
And the other thing is just check what tools you have. Don't go out buying loads of tools because you may not like it, but you know, go to Home Bargains, buy yourself a pair of nail clippers.
Toe clippers, yeah,
Yeah, toe clippers.
yeah.
To cut the plastic.
I've got
Emery
one.
files. You know, you could go to Home Bargain. You could pick up a nail set. You know, embroideries. Including and it comes with foamy pads as well, sanding sticks as well. You know, things like that. Just do it cheap. And always water down your paint. You know, it's acrylic paint. In any starter set, it's acrylic. And you can thin that 50-50, even go as far as 60-40, 60% water, 40% paint. That little pot will go a long way if you manage it well and do 2 coats. Make a crap coat, make it like a primer base, put it on. But yeah, that's 2 tips.
I mean, apart from, I can't add more to what the guys have said other than starting off with a simple model or die-cast vehicle. My advice would be pretty much on the back of what Moz was saying there. Keep your eyes open. We were talking about this the other day. The amount of shops that we go into that are not model shops, you know, even gardening centres, places like this where you can pick up bits and bobs that you can use for scratch building or things like that. And you don't have to spend a fortune. Go and check in your garden shed. And pretty much every bloke's got a set of tools that'll get them going. You know, a rattle can is not going to cost you an arm and a leg, whereas a decent airbrush and that kind of thing, you're going to have to fork out some money. There's no getting away from that. But a rattle can, $6.99, $7.99, whatever it may be now, and get yourself a model that's one colour.
One colour, yeah.
Lone Star, Martin mentioned Lone Star. They were a good model back in the day for being windowless, chassieless, just an axle and a body ring. That was the first one I did.
Yeah.
Chassis and body, yeah. No internal detail you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Just give it
whack it on.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Give it a go.
this he goes, okay, let's find one final one to
End all wars, shall we?
and this one. What's a popular hobby opinion you strongly disagree with?
Oh, a hot take.
Controversial, this one, but we'll finish on this one. You can see smoke coming out of Moz's ears already. Like he's.
You want a hot take?
Go on, mate. I'll let you go first, so the others can have a think about it.
A hot take in scale modelling. There's so many.
Or worst misconception, call it what you like.
Okay. Do not blame the kit. Always dry fit.
Oh.
If you get a part and you think, I'm just going to slap it on and put glue in, no. Dry fit it first. And remember, we are model builders, not assemblers. You may find that it won't quite join. There's a reason why it don't go together quite nicely. So you open it up, take a little bit of the plastic off, try it again, take a little bit more off until it nicely meets. It doesn't have to be tight, but just enough. Then you glue it or cement it, and then you wrap your tape around it or use your clamps to get it all nice together. You know. Yeah.
Have you got a set of them little clamps to hand?
I got all sorts. I got these ones here, which are really useful.
The pinch ones. Kind of thing.
Yeah, these ones I've got.
Those kind of things are brilliant to have to hand, and they're really cheap. You can get them from pound shops.
So, here you go. So I've got these, and you can see I've put sandpaper on them, 300 grit. Because a lot of these have got like a plastic foot. I haven't got one here. It hasn't got one, I don't think. I think I've done them to them all. And I think Martin Dare again, who is the legend of all legends.
God.
Well, I'm going to put you out on this one, Martin Dare. I really am. It's your fault. Now, I used to super glue sand. I used to put a bit of super glue on the pad and then clamp it to the sandpaper and then cut around it, okay? But the problem is that the super glue is very fragile. It's very, it's hard and it just cracks off. It used to fall off. And then I've come across the power of, where is it? B7000.
Oh, yeah.
B7000.
Yeah,
it's the future.
It's a few. Now I've got sandpaper now glued to these. Yeah.
All right, I'm the only one that hasn't got it too. Fair enough.
And this will, if you got like a little thing like watch this on my finger, right? It's right on the edge, like it's not gonna move because that sandpaper's gripping. And when you've got a canopy or like a fuselage, that is how good it is because the pads themselves are just like plastic. It just slips off. Plastic will slide off plastic, but when you put a little bit of sandpaper on this, it's luxury. It is. And I'm going to test this on canopies because I think this won't fog up a canopy. I don't think.
Do you want a spare piece for this, lad?
Yeah. And it smells amazing. Do you not agree? It's got.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Honestly, it beats Tamiya.
It's good stuff.
On behalf of the DSMC, disclaimer: we're not a drug supplier of B7000 or it's called.
I would just like to say that I was addicted to it because of the diecast community.
Alrighty, Martin, an opinion you strongly disagree with, a view or?
Well, I think I know it's going to sound strange. I think opinion I disagree with that. People think that making YouTube videos is easy.
Oh yeah.
I'll get one or two comments. People say, the video's too long, video's too short, and stuff like this. And you think to yourself, That's okay, but if you're doing something and you want to explain things as you go along, you know, for people who want to know, you know, and stuff like this. But then the video becomes longer. I know people say, oh, you know, you keep it within 30, 40 minutes and stuff like this. But yeah, it's not easy doing a video. That's, you know, with the hobby, it's not easy doing a video because you've got to bear in mind, whilst you're working, you've got that camera in front of you. So what a person would do without the camera being in front of them, will probably do it quicker. But whilst you're bearing in mind, you're not only trying to restore a particular part of the vehicle or do something, you're also bearing in mind that you're doing it for somebody who's going to watch it. So you've got to be careful where your hands are, you've got to be careful of the position of the camera, you've got to be careful of different things, you know. So your mind's always working on that respect. So no, and people say, "Oh, you know, making videos, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy."
I would always say, I said this to you, Mark. I only take criticism and constructive criticism from a fellow YouTuber.
Yeah.
I mean, you have put on the YouTube. So I don't want to go into a YouTube diatribe by any stretch of the imagination, but you've chosen to do that channel yourself. So what you should do on that channel predominantly should be for yourself. How you go about things, not because somebody says you've got to do it this way or somebody says you've got to do it that way. If we all did that, we'd all have the same channel. You've got to have a bit of You've got to have a Martin Dare's voice. You've got to have a Moz's voice. You've got to have a South Derbyshire voice, whatever it may be, or a Yorkshire voice. You know, that's what appeals to a lot of people. But do things within your capabilities first. Start off slow. You'll soon build, and there's plenty. I've seen a lot of the things in the a lot of the mentions in the chat. Go and watch YouTube videos. Martin Dare, Moz, Phil, me, we're all available on our Facebook page. You've got a question to ask, you're not sure about how to do something, leave a comment. Somebody will get back to you. It might not be one of us, it might be somebody else who's got a better idea than what we've got. The community is always there to help people. It's growing, and we've got some fabulous builders on there that are not YouTube. You don't have to be a YouTuber. We encourage people who are not YouTubers as much as we do YouTubers, and we try and make it so that their work can be displayed. You'll have to join the Facebook group to see them, right?
Well, that's why we had the challenge, wasn't it? So we opened the challenge up to people who weren't YouTubers, didn't it? So they could display their work. We've
got a list of challenges up for next year. We're going to do the Corgi one for Bob. You don't have to be the best restorer in the world. Just take part. There's no criticism for taking part. Anything, Phil, that you come across that you've found that you thought was a good idea, but then found out, perhaps not quite a good idea I thought it was.
Put me on the spot. I
left you till last. Think about it.
You've just changed the question.
He has. Yeah, he did. He did. Phil.
What was it? Sorry,
he swapped it.
I mean, I have actually. I'm guilty of starting restorations that have been a little bit more complicated. I'm guilty. I've bought the Batmobile. I've bought the Aston Martin, and also I forget what they call it now. You know, the 007 amphibian car, the white one.
Lotus. Yeah.
And they're still in the box that I bought to do. So I suppose even the restoration, they've all got different degrees of difficulty. So you've got to be confident when you
finish projects knocking about. It's a certain fact. I'm guilty of. That's one thing I am guilty of. I started the Joe 90 car and it's still waiting to be finished. I've got an Interceptor waiting to be finished. I've got Thunderbird parts now that waiting to do that. Amazing what you start to collect and you think, yeah, I'll do that. Anyway.
I mean, just on your other question about the misconceptions and the likes.
Oh, that was it, my apologies.
I think one for me as a beginner, if you like, is the value of pre-restoration and post-restoration vehicles. I think it might be a completely separate topic that we could discuss one point. But yeah, there's a lot of difference of opinions as to whether they're worth less, worth more, or just the overall value of vintage vehicles, I suppose.
That'd be a good debate for a later time, wouldn't it, that one?
Yeah.
The sack of pig ears that people are selling for print for jewelry costs, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Alrighty. We've gone past our 2-hour remit. We probably have to ask half the questions, but most enjoyable as always. Just a couple more shout outs. Our thoughts, just to recap, if you weren't here before, our thoughts and prayers go to anybody affected by the Bondi Beach incident. I don't want to make it a political thing. We're not that. We're not a religious thing, so we're not getting into that. If you've got family over there, give them a call. Let them know you're thinking about them. We've got members in Australia that are valued members of our community. With regard to Bob, we've kind of covered that. He's a great loss to everybody. Or most of us here have heard of Corgi Bob and watched at least one or two of his videos and been an inspiration. So our thoughts and prayers to Linda and the family. I don't know him personally. Martin knows he's probably our best contact for the family. Perhaps he'll let them know that we're thinking about him and pass on our best wishes. I'd like to thank the boys, as always, Martin, Phil, Moz, for joining me for what has been a fantastic celebration weekend for me personally. I can't thank the guys enough. Luke, for coming up yesterday. We had a great day, although we were interrupted by a bunch of police sirens. We all thought there was going to be an assassination in Swad, but it ended up being a drive-through of American police state cars, so that was unexpected. So with it, just for a couple of other things, we've hit 430 members on the Facebook group. Which I never thought we'd get that many. I know there's people who've got thousands and thousands.
There are thousands, yeah. Many people have got
thousands of subscribers. But each one of them are a valued member. The chat is brilliant.
Just Bryan, you know he's on here. Get well soon, mate. I know you've been full with flu and you've been leaking from all the O's and everything. We wish you all that you get better, my friend.
We do. Bryan sent me a message. He was unable. He was going to come up yesterday, but he's not well. So our thoughts are with Bryan. Our thoughts are with Lad. All those people that have joined us throughout the year on our ever-growing, I hope, Sunday night chat. All new members, thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with people and getting the thoughts of people. We're going to do one more. Well, I'm not going to promise who's going to turn up because it's going to be on the 28th of December. But this is going to be a purely FAQ. So if you're in the chat, have a think about it before you've got a fortnight to think about it. Think of 2 or 3 questions that you'd like to ask whoever's online. I can't promise who's going to be online because I know Christmas time's a busy period. But I'll be online. We'll see what the other guys are doing. It'll be the last one of the year, so it'll be probably looking back at what some of the models we've done, that kind of thing. And I think I'm rambling now. So
yeah,
my thanks to Martin, my thanks to Phil, my thanks to Moz, thanks to everybody in the chat. I'll see you in a fortnight's time. Don't forget to please like and subscribe. It helps our community grow. And come and join the Facebook group if you haven't already. And we'll see you there. So this is me, PJ, signing off. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Cheers.
Cheers all.
So that.
Bye bye.